the real X factor for the Hornets. Outside the dazzling LaMelo Ball performances and inspiring resurgence of one Gordon Hayward, the Charlotte Hornets have found alternative routes to winning basketball games. They're one of the youngest, fastest and most explosive teams on the court at all times. They love to move the ball, spread the floor and are extremely efficient from deep, shooting 39% from three, which is good for 6th in the NBA. However, they're not an overly efficient team defensively and are turning the ball over at an alarming rate, 15.0 times per game, the second worst in the NBA. With that being said, they have been on an upward trend recently and are one of the more exciting teams on the court on any given night. They illustrate their quickness through their ability to get in the passing lanes. They're currently ranked 7th in the league in SPG with 8.3 and they push the fast break. Even more impressive is the fact that they carry immense potential as a team, as the majority of their core are still on their rookie contracts or on their first major contracts. We're watching the growth and maturing of so many young prospects on one team at such a rapid pace. It's truly thrown Charlotte into the mix of teams to keep an eye on moving forward. However, there's one player in particular who can be most attributed to the team's success, and it isn't LaMelo. That player being PJ Washington. Washington's coming off yet another impressive performance in the win against the Pistons, putting up 20 points, 9 rebounds and 2 blocks in 32 minutes, playing a pivotal role in the team's ability to rebound and defend the rim. The Hornets have been on a roll recently, winning 5 of their last 7 games, including big dubs against a competitive Raptors squad and a dominant Suns team, landing them with an above .500 record at 19 for 18, shooting 38.5% from 3, that makes them 6th in the NBA, and moving the ball at an extremely efficient rate at 27.2 per game, ranking them 2nd in the NBA. Charlotte has gained serious traction recently, thanks in large part to the emergence of LaMelo Ball and the consistent development of their young core. And while Gordon Hayward is undoubtedly the go-to guy offensively, LaMelo is their budding star.
Oh! Didn't see that coming!
And Terry Rozier has emerged as the team's closer. PJ Washington has quietly taken over as the key contributor to the team's success. PJ Washington entered the NBA as the 12th overall pick in the 2019 draft out of the University of Kentucky. Listed as 6'7" and 230 pounds, PJ was labelled as an undersized power forward, but a player with immense talent offensively and a physicality to his game which made him ready for the NBA. He immediately made an impact in his NBA debut, scoring a record-high 7 threes on a 27-point performance, a Charlotte Hornets an NBA record for most NBA threes by a player in their debut since 1979. Washington would go on to have an extremely productive season as the Hornets rookie averaged 12.2 points, 5.4 rebounds, 2.1 assists and 0.8 blocks per game, earning himself a spot on the NBA's all-rookie second team. He averaged 1.5 threes per game, shooting a .374 clip from beyond the arc. PJ Washington ranked in the top 10 of all rookies with a minimum of 15 games played in 3-point field goals, rebounds, blocks and steals per game, as well as 3-point shooting percentage with a minimum of 50 attempts. Coming into the 2020-21 campaign, expectations were high for PJ and the young Charlotte squad, especially with the addition of Gordon Hayward and the drafting of LaMelo Ball. Although Washington has been up and down for the majority of the season, as have the Hornets, early on many coaches referenced his seeming lack of motivation and drive on a nightly basis. There would be games where he goes on an absolute tear, draining shot after shot, sprinting up and down the floor and playing some tough, gritty defense. However, there'll still be some games where he'll refuse to put forth any scoring output and is less than active on the defensive end of the floor. Earlier in the season, he had a tremendous 42-point game in which he shot the lights out from everywhere on the floor, but then followed it up with a 3-point game the following night, only to then go on a 5-game streak where he never scored more than 6 points in a game. Inconsistent doesn't even begin to describe the roller coaster of a player that is PJ Washington, and yet it draws eerily similar vibes to the Hornets franchise as a whole. Glimpses of talent matched with underwhelming performances. PJ Washington's individual success almost directly mirrors the team's success, and a large reason why they're able to win on any given night. Washington's activity on the floor and toughness on the defensive end are unmatched. Even the Hornets coach James Borrego came out after last Thursday's win and said the following: "I think he's motivated right now. I'll put it that way. On the court and in the weight room, in the training room, he's focused right now. The scoring is one thing, but the defense, the rebounding, the activity, that's what we need every night. If he plays at this level, he takes our team to a different level. PJ currently sits 5th on the team in scoring with 12.7 points per game, but is 2nd in rebounds per game with 6.4, and he shoots the ball at an extremely efficient rate. 45% field goals, 39% from three-point, and 79% free throws, not to mention the fact that he leads the team in blocks with 1.2 per game, and is also averaging over a steal per game too. He's an efficient scorer who plays active defense, and at just 6'7", his ability to run up and down the floor and the number of rebounds and blocks he collects is impressive, especially with the rest of the team putting up amongst the worst defensive rebounding stats in the NBA. PJ's impressive efficiency levels and activity on the defensive end are invaluable to this young Hornets team. In a way, the Hornets go as Washington goes. Charlotte currently sits 6th in the conference at 19 for 18, above projected playoff teams like the Hawks, Pacers and Raptors. Many people still take this team for granted, but the reality is that they actually have a legitimate shot at making some noise come playoff time. There's a good shot that Charlotte will finish anywhere in that 6 to 8 spot in the Eastern Conference, which would likely have them face up against a powerhouse Nets or 76ers squad, which surely won't end up well. Although, if they're able to sneak into that 5th or 6th seed, then there's a very realistic chance for them to cause some serious problems for an inconsistent Heat team or a struggling Celtics squad. If they can squeeze into one of those spots, I wouldn't put it past LaMelo, Rozier and Washington pulling off an upset over a top-seeded team. Not to say these are guaranteed wins for the Hornets, or even that they're guaranteed to get that far, but they have the speed, shooting capabilities and depth to match up with certain playoff teams. And a large piece of the puzzle for them even reaching the playoffs and having success will come down to the play of PJ Washington. If PJ can continue to score the ball efficiently, bring down pivotal rebounds and run the floor playing a sound, tough defense, then the Hornets could have themselves the perfect second or third option to pair up alongside their franchise cornerstone LaMelo Ball and have a real shot at competing in the 2021 NBA playoffs.